that's a Star Wars fan? Well, you're at the right panel. I'm Mike Avila from SYFY Wire, and I'm here with three well-known Star Wars novelists. Starting closest to me, John Jackson Miller. Delilah Dawson. And the gentleman at the end, Chuck Wendig. Thank you all for joining me. You know, what's interesting about writing in the Star Wars universe is that it's a much more complex process than writing is, which is already tough. Because you're part of an established universe and you have to play well in the sandbox. Yeah. How is that for each of you, dealing with the grand poobahs of the story group?
I've been doing it for about 12 years because I think actually longer than that. I started with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the comic series, and then on to Lost Tribe of the Sith and Knight Errant and Kenobi and all these things. And what I've learned, I refer to Star Wars as working in a national park. I try to leave no trace, as they say, the campers do. Everybody wants to leave their fingerprints on Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever franchise you have to be working in. I think the most important thing is to leave the universe in its upright and locked position afterward and not leave a bunch of stuff stuffed into the back of the seat backs for other people to have to clean up, because the person that you create a story problem for later on might even be yourself.
Delilah, you wrote Phasma, which was a character that was, a book about a character that we all were really interested in seeing, but we knew nothing about. That was a particularly unique challenge, I think, for a Star Wars writer. What was your first approach to doing that book?
I mean, my first approach was like screaming ecstatically when I found out that I got to do it. But my bailiwick as a writer is basically vicious, murderous women, so it was a really good fit. And in one of our first kind of meetings, you start talking about the shape of the book before you get around to plot and things. And one of the first things they said was like, story within a story, and we'll do this and that. And they're like, what if it was like kind of Mad Max? And I was like, you have my full attention. Let's do that. But see, when it comes to messing up, like I want to leave as many like animals and artifacts as I can in the Star Wars world. Like, I will invent all sorts of things. I will turn my very good friends into Gans and ritualistically hurt them. Like, I love maybe not leaving, dirty cans in that national park.
Well, that's all cool. You just don't want to say Luke and Leia were part of triplets.
No, I want to import, like, blue mooses is what I want to do there.
You don't want to litter the Star Wars universe, in other words.
I want to litter it with awesome things.
There you go.
So not kudzu, more like, God, I wish I'd come up with porgs.
Chuck, how about you? How have you found working in the Star Wars universe and coming up with your story ideas, pitching them, and then the back and forth?
I mean, it's been great. They, I think there's this idea, like you're talking about the grand poobahs of the universe, and I think there's this idea that there's people governing the Star Wars universe that don't care about it, or they care about it in a sort of a corporate money-making way. But these people are all fans like we are. So, putting together these stories is like an act of geekery. Like it's like, we're all commiserating about all the awesome stuff we want to do. And I think their, entire purpose is to help us as artists. And this is true in the films, and it's true in the comics, and it's true in the books, to bring out like our best version of the story we want to tell. Delilah had a great metaphor yesterday at a panel that was like, they've given us in bowling, how sometimes you have bumpers. She said like they've given us bumpers. Like we can still have our game, but they kind of like steer it just a little bit and give us that sort of like safety net to keep us going. So it's been great. It's been awesome.